Welcome to the Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
Happy Friday inside the Lock Shop, everybody. Welcome back to another NFL Week 12 Best Bets episode. Friday morning here in Edmonton, Friday night out in Qatar, where Hus is sitting in his room cursing the Netherlands right now. I love it.
They're on the list. They're straight onto the list. I didn't think you could get there midway through the group stage, but yes, the Netherlands let us down. The Doha double was hot. We had a big win yesterday. Cashed it on that bicycle kick, Dusty.
Woo, what a way to go.
Brazil game. It was unbelievable. We needed 5 goals from Portugal. They got 3. Thought it was pretty good. 0-0 after the first half, and then Brazil scores. And then, the bike kick was the best goal of the tournament, I think, so far. And then, we had the Netherlands today. We were all fired up for that one. Figured that would be the easy one. And then getting the 3 goals in the USA-England game was what we were concerned about. And they scored 5 minutes in and then did absolutely F all for the rest of the match. Ecuador deserved to win the game. They probably should have won 3-1 or 4-1. So anyways, we'll hopefully get back on the horse. Maybe may have to re-up something before this final game. And, of course, Winnipeg Sports Talk coming up at the top of the hour. What's going on back home?
Not much, man. Not much. A lot of NFL action yesterday. We just missed on the partner parlay. Went 2 of 3. It was the Detroit Lions who ended up hanging around. I don't know what to make of Buffalo. I'll tell you that. I'm not too, and Detroit been played well lately. I get it.
Yeah.
But I'm not too sure what to make of Buffalo, man. The Bills are kind of stuck in neutral, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, they did get 2 wins in 5 days, both in Detroit, which is a little bizarre for a team that plays out of Buffalo. But yeah, Lions are coming around. They're not quitting. I really respect what they're doing right now. They're not a very talented team compared to many of the teams that they're playing, but they sure are playing hard. My big hit, you'll love this. So the Dallas game started at 12:30 here. So by the time we got down to the short strokes, we were pushing 4 a.m. And Jake was asleep. I'm watching this game on some stream on my iPad, and I'm basically lying down. I'm hanging in, hoping, okay, it's 15 points. Like maybe we can get a miracle. They give up the ball with, again, probably like 2.5 minutes left. And I think it went to a commercial for the 2-minute warning. And next thing you know, I started opening up my eyes and the stream's over. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, well, check the score. 28-20. Oh my God, a miracle backdoor cover has done it for us. And then granted, I did not stay up for the 4:20 a.m. start for the Vikings and Patriots.
Where's your level of commitment, Hus?
Yeah, that was quite the game.
It was a good game. Yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah, absolutely. I went back and caught up on a lot of it today. Primetime Kirk Cousins. Hey, everyone doubted him. Big game. Justin Jefferson, though.
Buddy.
I know we spent a lot of time talking about him in the fantasy draft. Very happy I jumped on him ahead of Cooper Kupp on a couple of early decisions in round number 1. But anyways, let's get to it. I'm fired up. There's been some ups and downs this week. Had a great day yesterday between the football. Had a perfect day for World Cup. Obviously, today hasn't been perfect after the Netherlands blew it. But 29-15 against the spread in the best bets. I'm feeling the pressure right now. Luckily, being here in Qatar, focusing in so much on the soccer, it's given me a little bit of time to not obsess about these picks, but they're locked and loaded. They're ready to go, and I'm looking forward to NFL Sunday. I'm, of course, going to be able to watch the Canada game, finish up, and then probably get back and check out a good at least half of NFL Sunday into the wee hours of Monday morning here.
Man, you're really sort of settling in for that. That's going to be a really nice day right there, buddy. I'm jealous of you. It should be excellent. All right, let's get into our best bets. And I just had to make one quick change there, but I do think we are good to go. Yes, we are good to go. All right, Haas, here we go. There's one game we're on together. There's one game we're going head-to-head, and then we got a few other games that we're on this week. Let's just lay it out here right now. You're 29-15 against the spread so far with the Lock Shop. If you aren't betting with the Lock Shop yet, sign up for an account at CoolBet. Go to coolbet.com, enter the code LOCKSHOP, one word, 100% deposit bonus on initial deposit up to $200. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. First 1,000 people to subscribe to the YouTube channel are going to go into draw for $1,000 cash as well. All right, Hus. Well, I'm 22, 21, and 1 now. So I'm barely above 500. You've been crushing this so far. So lay it out for me, buddy. Where are you going this week?
Well, this was a tougher week because, of course, we've already bet 3 games on Thursday. I mean, we had, some of those teams that, games that may have made it into the best bets have already been bet on. And as I said, we missed that Buffalo game, but did come back with a 2-1. And I got the under in that Buffalo game as well by 1.5 points. I was kind of feeling pretty good about 54.5. It's a massive number. 53 was the total, so got it. But I've settled on 4 games. And you mentioned the one game that we're both on right now, and that is Washington, the Commanders. We've been throwing the left hand up almost weekly. Funny enough, my one loss last week was thinking that there might be a bit of a letdown from the Commanders after that huge Monday night win against the Eagles against the Houston Texans. No, that was a terrible pick. But sometimes, if you're going to blow it in a massive way. That's exactly what I did with that game. Got the other 3. They're going up against Atlanta. I have been waiting for the other shoe to drop on the Atlanta Falcons for most of this season. And, I'm hoping that this is further evidence that maybe it was a little bit of a mirage earlier on. Taylor Heineke's winning football games. He's certainly not looking like Pat Mahomes or Justin Herbert or anything like that, but man, he's getting it done. To me, I think the reason why I really like Washington is how their defense is continuing to, to step up, and their running game as well. Talk a little bit more about Brian Robinson tomorrow on the Parlay and Prop Show. But listen, I think Washington right now is on a roll. They've got a game against a team that they really should beat, and they have to win right now because they are in. Remember all our jokes about the NFC East in the last couple of seasons? Yeah. So it's now the NFC Beast, and they've got this opportunity. And the running game, Antonio Gibson is fantasy relevant again. He's been contributing, and Brian Robinson Jr. I think is certainly a guy that you could probably count on to hopefully get into the end zone this week. So we're going to take the -4. This was 4.5. It's come down to 4. And to be honest, and I think I may have done this in a parlay for tomorrow, which we'll get to on tomorrow's show. You can even get -3.5 at less than -120. I think it was -118 when I looked last time. But for the bets today, we're going to take Washington at -4. That is the one favorite that I'm taking. Dusty, by the way, you might want to just change that. Tennessee is actually +3.
Yeah, that's right. I remember I cut and pasted this from your email, and I was looking at it last night. I was just like, that's not right. They're not -3.
Oh,
+3. There we go.
That was a little bit of a mistake. Yeah. Well, let's go to that game right now. They are susceptible to big plays, and I think that's a bit of the reason why Cincinnati is a road favorite going up against Tennessee. But to be perfectly honest with you, with what we've seen from Mike Vrabel, especially against good teams, good offensive teams, think about what they did to the Chiefs and how great Mahomes had to be and how hard they had to work to beat them in the fashion that they did. I really like Tennessee as a home favorite. I think we'll see lots of Derrick Henry. I think Ryan Tannehill's had another couple weeks to get healthy. So I do have some confidence that Tennessee can be right in this game. And if you're going to give me the Titans and 3 points at home, I'm definitely going with the home dog in that game. So I like Tennessee +3. And, I've seen it at 2.5 at even money. When I locked it in, it was -116 at +3. The number's right around there right now. It might be a little bit higher if you waited. 2 other games. We'll go to Chicago. Now they're playing the New York Jets. Zach Wilson's benched. Mike White getting the start. Listen, the Jets are a team that is all about their defense, and their defense is good. But I think Justin Fields still has the opportunity just with his legs to create enough to be able to move the football, put some points on the board. And listen, I know Chicago's had some real iffy games defensively this year, but man, the Jets have been doing absolutely nothing. And Mike White wasn't starting earlier when Zach Wilson wasn't in. It was Joe Flacco. He's going to get the opportunity. I think I saw you on Twitter going, at what point do we give Chris Streveler a shot right now?
Yeah, come on, you cowards.
You know what? He seems to be perfectly fit for this Jets team, right? He could play on the Jets defense. We know how hard-nosed Strevler is. So yeah, getting 6 in this situation could not stay away from this number, taking the 6 points with the Chicago Bears. And who knows, maybe Mike White, who of course famously had over 400 yards in his first start. That was his first start. All the other starts haven't been very good.
Yeah.
So I think this will be a close game right now. Neither of these teams, well, certainly, I mean, the Jets have won enough games. I mean, they're in a different category with the Bears right now. But I think
Zach
the
Wilson's
Bears,
5-2.
yeah,
He's 5-2.
5-2, and is basically not even dressed for this game, or will be the third string quarterback. So I'm taking the Bears right now. I do think that they have shown enough lately that they'll be able to hang in games. I mean, the offense has been putting up numbers, and I don't think the Jets have the offense to really run away with this game. So I'm going to take Chicago +6 on the road. And then my final game is the Raiders. And the Raiders are on the road in Seattle. You might be going, are you kidding me? I thought the Raiders were on the list, suspended for a long time. I got to tell you, Derek Carr on his own is sort of dragging his team into, I'm not going to say contention, because they're not contending for anything other than a top pick in the draft right now. But shall we say respectability? And maybe like Atlanta, maybe we're going to see a little bit of regression to the mean from Seattle, who was such a great story of the first half of the season, Dusty. But in the last couple games, the last 3 games, Carr has 8 touchdowns, no picks. We're seeing a lot more Devontae Adams, which I think we assumed we'd see consistently.
Had to have that, yeah.
Yeah, and listen, I'm not sure that Seattle is ready to just blow the doors off anybody, to be perfectly honest. I mean, they have a very, very weak schedule so far this year because of where they had last year. But even in games like against the Saints, they gave up 37 or 39 points in this game. Bottom line is, I think Vegas can hang in this game, and I think Derek Carr is playing for pride right now. So if we're going to get 3 and the hook +3.5, give me the Raiders +3.5 on the road to keep things close. I'm going to take 3 underdogs, 1 at home with the Tennessee Titans, and we're going to lay the 4 points on the Washington Commanders for the 4 best bets today for yours truly in the lock shop.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Commanders. I was just add to that. I mean, if they get Chase Young back, and there's been reports that he is going to back, he was a little non-committal to it, but this is a defense that's already trending in the right direction. Now you add in an absolute beast on your defensive line. I mean, that's going to make them that much better against an Atlanta team that kind of one-dimensional anyway. I love it. I love that number at 4. I mean, you're going to see it in some parlays on Saturday, probably adjusted down a little bit. We'll have a partner parlay for you on Saturday as well. Commanders have won 5 of 6. I mean, it's as simple as that. And it's not on the strength of Heineke. I think Heineke's been good enough for sure. But it's the strength of their defense and some of their playmakers, getting going with Heineke at the helm, which certainly does help. So I'm on Washington -4. One of my favorite plays of the week, actually.
Listen, I still can't get over how they ran the football down the throat of the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly, an undefeated team. And I think that is the blueprint right now. You're exactly right. Heineke hasn't been winning the games, but he sure as hell hasn't been losing the games for them. Well, in fact, he did lose one game for them. The one game they've lost in this 5-1 stretch was that game in Minnesota where they were up 10 in the fourth quarter. He threw that bad pick to Harrison Smith. True. And then all of a sudden from there, I think Ron Rivera's like, we're just going to run the football. We're going to run the football. We're going to play good defense. We're going to hang in there. And, I would love, and again, we'll talk about it, maybe a little bit of a shorter number if we're talking parlays right now, but certainly between Atlanta, where they're going, Commanders on the way up -4. What about the other 3?
Well, I am going to tie it in a little bit to what we were just talking about, that game against the Eagles in Washington. They ran all over them. I think Green Bay, if they want, could do close to the same. I just think 7's a huge number. It's actually moved. Last night it was at 7. It's at 6.5 so far today. I really like it at 7. The Philadelphia Eagles are interesting. I mean, they were rolling. They got ran all over by the Commanders, and then they had to squeak one out against the Colts in a game in which Jonathan Taylor had a pretty good game for the Colts, and the Eagles end up winning 17-16 or whatever it was. So the last couple of the games for the Eagles lead me to believe that they shouldn't be a touchdown favorite, a 7-point favorite against the Packers team that has certainly been hit and miss, but they did just go beat the Dallas Cowboys a couple of weeks ago. So I think it's too big a number. I mean, are the Eagles going to win this game? I think the Eagles can certainly win this game, but I think 7's too big a number. So I'm going to hop on Green Bay here at 7 on the other side of this one. And obviously it's an important game. Now, this is not a important game for the Eagles, considering who they're battling with at the top, but it's a really important game for the Green Bay Packers as they try to salvage their season here. And if Aaron Rodgers doesn't win this one, I'm sure something else will be broken, and he'll blame it on that as well. So, and then the other two games I've got, go ahead.
Just the minute I heard him telling Pat McAfee, oh, by the way, I've got the broken thumb. I mean, that to me was the white flag on the Packers season. Like just, getting ahead of it.
Well, then just run the ball with Jones and Dillon. You can do it against Philly. Maybe. And if they do, that's a good news because it'd be a slower paced game, and I like the Packers because of that with the 7. I'll get to the game we're going head to head on in a second. I'm going to go Baltimore 3.5 here, and the Jags suck. Bottom line is the Jags had a couple good games at the beginning of the year, and they stink. I mean, I know it's on the road for Baltimore, and maybe Baltimore isn't everything that we think they should be or expected them to be, but they're a way better team. They're a tier, if not 2 tiers, ahead of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Jaguars it's 3.5. I mean, I think Baltimore could win this game by 20, to be honest with you. Baltimore has won 4 in a row. They pretty much don't allow anything offensively. The last 2 games, they've allowed 16 total points. The Jags have 1 win in their last 7 games. And it was against the Raiders, and the Raiders stink. So I like Baltimore at 3.5 here. I really like that number. Outside of Washington, this is probably my second favorite pick of the week. And then you know how the Raiders have treated me so far. I backed them for like 4 weeks longer than I should have. The Raiders so far this year have beat Houston and Denver twice. Like, they haven't beat anybody. They're 3-7. Now, the hook, not a huge fan of it, but Seattle had won 4 straight games by double digits before going overseas, losing to the Bucs, and then they had a bye week. And I think it's a nice sort of reset. Things have been cruising along pretty good for Seattle. A little bit of a wake-up call against the Bucs overseas, unique spot. They're home now, going up against the Raiders team that, I mean, you make a fair point on what Carr has done recently, and he's trying by himself. And earlier in the year, I mean, Josh Jacobs looked pretty good earlier in the year. But even with Carr looking good as of late, they squeak one out in overtime against Denver and then lost to Indy, Jacksonville, and were shut out by the Saints. So I think Seattle's a good football team, and they're at home. They're coming off a bye, and I will never bet for the Raiders again the rest of the season. So I'm going to try to almost fade myself and go on the other side of this and take Seattle. Now, that's tough to do because you're like 29-15. Why would I go against you in any game? But I can't ride with you on the Raiders on this one.
Well, the funny thing is and it happens to all of us, but we just get into terrible situations with particular teams where we always end up on the wrong side. I'm hoping that is the case with the Raiders and you. And even when you're not touching them and going against them,
still screw me.
Maybe that's going to be the thing that propels the Raiders into at least a covering position. Hey, just one thing on the Baltimore pick.
Yeah.
I was thinking long and hard about this game, and it's interesting. This was another one that's come down. It was 4. It's now 3.5. Lamar Jackson's due for a monster game. Like, he had that great start to the season. It really has been a while, and I'm not sure you could have a better opportunity to blow up in a game than in the situation that they're in going into Jacksonville right now. So I'm with you on Baltimore. I do think that I really do think Lamar is going to have a game that reminds everyone that he's still one of these top quarterbacks. And by the way, it might be a good idea for him to do that as well, considering his current contractual situation without having that extension right now. Every game is an opportunity to continue to raise the stakes when it comes to his long-term future with the Baltimore Ravens.
Lamar had 10 touchdowns in the first 3 weeks. In the 7 weeks since then, he's had 6. So you're right. He's due for a 3 or 4 touchdown game, and if you can get the Ravens here at -3.5, I think you have to be pretty happy for it. So there you go. Week 12, best bets. We're both on Washington -4. I'm on Seattle -3.5, Baltimore -3.5, and Green Bay +7. Hus is on the Raiders +3.5, the Bears +6, and Tennessee +3. Saturday with the Lock Shop, we'll have your partner parlay, and we will have your props and parlays Saturday. Hus will be set up in Qatar, getting ready for the big Sunday match against Croatia. Is anybody talking about effing Croatia over there, Hus, after what Herdman had to say? Or is it just here in Croatia people are talking about that?
I mean, not really. I mean, people are kind of focusing. There's so much happening here around the games that are happening every day. I'll be honest. I'm sure when we get to Sunday and we're getting around before the game and milling around the stadium and seeing fans of both teams, wouldn't be surprised if that comes up. But, hey, you know what? Herdman's got a lot of confidence in his club. It is in some ways a challenge, throwing down the gauntlet. They got to go in there and get a result against the Croatians right now after playing their asses off, but just not being rewarded for it against Belgium in the first game. So I cannot wait. If you're just checking this out and you haven't, make sure you're following CoolBet Canada on Twitter and Instagram, and myself at Hustlerama. We'll be getting there early. We'll have a bunch of videos and pics from outside the stadium, inside the stadium, and maybe, just maybe, an ice-cold bevy from the lounge, because I'm pretty sure that will be some of the few people that will have access to the good stuff at the game on Sunday.
We'll talk to you on Saturday, buddy. See you later, man.
Look at